welcome back to Wine the Time of Corona. I'm Liz from Frankly Wines. We are on our second day of tasting wines from the Val d'Aosta as well as Alto Piemonte. Last Thursday we tasted an awesome little Nebbiolo blend coming from the banks of the Sesia River, but really mainly Gattinara. And we also tasted a native red to the Val d'Aosta. We're going to, because the Val d'Aosta, as I think I had mentioned, and if you like maps, please do go to our website or our Instagram. Today's tasting has some maps which can kind of show you where these things are from, but the Val d'Aosta being literally the Italian Alps, like a valley leading up into the mountains, means that yes, they do great, awesome light reds like we tasted last week, the Torrette, but they also kill it on some really beautiful, high acid, super aromatic whites. And so we're actually doing kind of a cool bottle today because it is a 2014, because due to the level of acidity that's in these wines that are kind of way up in the mountains, you can actually make wines that can age for a while. So we're starting today with the Isio Voyat Bianco La Gazzella. So La Gazzella literally translates to the gazelle. Apparently his daughter held the record in the 100 and 200 meter sprinter. So he named it technically after his daughter. Oftentimes when you just see something as Vino Bianco, it could very well mean it's a blend, but in this situation it's not. It's 100% Moscato Giallo. So a lot of us know Moscato from things like Moscato d'Asti, which is further south in Piedmont. Moscato d'Asti is made in a frizzante style, meaning it's got some bubbles in it. They arrest the fermentation earlier, it's a little lower alcohol. Here we have a fully still for one and fully fermented dry version. So this ends up being clocking in at 12.5% as far as the alcohol goes. So it's definitely not sweet. It's fully transferred all that sugar over from the Moscato grape into being a fully dry wine. However, where you can really feel that Moscato is absolutely on the nose. So this, wow, is just like such a crazy aromatic wine. It's really kind of driving like the tangerine and the candied citrus peel. We were saying it's got a lot of peach, white flower. Yeah, definitely just like a very, very interesting. If you like things like dry Rieslings, if you love Gewürztraminers, if you like Torrontes from Argentina, any sort of these like aromatic whites, then this would be great for it. It would also be really good with some Indian food or some Thai food, because a lot of times these more savory spices and sometimes actual spice like heat, they work well when they have bright, high acid, but slightly aromatic or hinting into sweet white wines. So this could be really, really fun. Or additionally, seeing as we're starting to see all of our spring veggies like spring peas and pea tendrils and favas, if you were gonna put together a nice spring salad with all sorts of fresh produce, this would also be really, really nice. You could throw a little chicken or tofu or tuna into the salad for some protein, but I would say it just would work really well, especially with some greens. But you can see from the color, it's got that very yellow. So Moscato Giallo literally means yellow muscat. Rather than the grapes being green, they're a little more golden hued. And so it just, it makes for a very dry, almost like has a little salinity to it. But yeah, it's super fun. I'm very into this wine, and I think it's a great alternative to Gewürz for sure, and it can be something fun to just try and check out. I wish I hadn't poured so much, but because now we're gonna move on to the other wines. So I'm flipping back over the border from the Val d'Aosta back into Piedmont. We are literally at the last town. If you're on the Autostrada and you're driving from Piedmont into Val d'Aosta, the last town you pass is Carema. Now, Carema is a tiny, tiny, tiny little wine appellation and town. There's really only like 2 producers who have enough land that they can actually, it makes sense for them to like build their own winery and basically have their own operation. Otherwise, The area is full of a lot of local farmers who sometimes have at the most 1 hectare of land, a lot of times less. So in 1960, 65? Yep, 1960, I was right. In 1960, they started the Produttori di Carema, which is literally the local co-op. So something is interesting in both this area of northern Piedmont and in Alto Adige is you have all these tiny little mountain plots. And so some of these guys, if you have 1 hectare, that's an awful lot of work to get an importer and build your own winery and be overseeing your production when you really only had this tiny plot of land. So it's a total of 45 growers that give their grapes to the local co-op. Again, as I was saying, sometimes they have 1 hectare, sometimes they have a half a hectare. It's entirely Nebbiolo, so the same grape that you would have down south in Barolo and Barbaresco, as well as along in Nebbiolo. But here we're, again, in the foothills of the mountains, and we're in these super, super steep terraces. I'm going to post some cool pictures to the website of what exactly it looks like here. And finally. In the end, they do a pretty traditional fermentation here. They do it 12 days, spends 2 years in large oak barrels. As you can tell, it's got a very kind of like light color to it. It's definitely not as, there's nothing like inky or opaque about this. Ooh, it's got so much cool, like just earthy, like wow. It's total gravel rock. Like right now, and we just opened the bottle, this is bound to change and a lot more of the fruit will probably come out, but upon opening, this is like totally got the fresh earth, a little bit of barnyard funk to it right now, not as much fruit, a lot more like mushroomy fruit to it, but just from having had this wine, I know that it's gonna kind of mellow out a little bit and some more fruit will come out. But as I was saying, so this area, is super, super steep. So the first day that I was actually in the Val d'Aosta, I was with a different co-op. I was with the Caves de Blanc de Morges de Sal. So I spent that morning basically doing what, with the head of that co-op, Jean-Luc Hotellerie, and we drove around to all the different, I don't know if it was all of them, but we drove around to several, probably at least a dozen different sites that were all small farmers that were putting all their grapes into that white wine. So we stopped by everyone's vineyards, we collected samples. It's kind of crazy. Some of these vineyards were like literally steep, like climbing on like all fours. Some of them were a little bit more valley-like, but they had these crazy like low pergolas. Yeah, so they definitely adapt and find ways to continue growing grapes. Sadly, there is a lot of vineyards that you will see that are abandoned at this point because at some point somebody was like, I'm not climbing that mountain to grow grapes up there to sell it to the co-op anymore. But fortunately, this is $24 on the shelf, so quite a value considering how many different growers go into it. It has more than 2 years of bottle age on it. It's a 2016, and it's just an awesome everyday value for Nebbiolo. So anyways, I am gonna, oh yeah, it's already getting more rosy. It's already got more of those kind of floral rose petal notes. That's enough for tonight, but I want to let you know what we're doing on Thursday. So tomorrow, April 1st, officially marks our 3-year anniversary since we took over Frankly Wines. Woo! So we thought we should celebrate. And fortunately, Piedmont loves their bubbles. So we are going to be popping on Thursday 3 different sparkling wines. First, we're going to be doing the Alta Longa Brut from Enrico Serafino. This is going to be Pinot Nero. So this is done in the classic method, fully a sparkling wine that are fully Pinot Noir, Blanc de Noir. Then we're going to be doing a cool sparkling wine made from the local grape Erbeluce, which is actually from up near this guy. And then finally, we're going to be doing the Ettore Germano. This is his Longa Brut. Basically, this is all Nebbiolo. When he does his dry harvest, or when he does his green harvest in September, the fruit has the right acidity to do sparkling wine. So he makes sparkling wine from his Nebbiolo as he does his green harvesting before he lets the end of it ripen to his Barolo. So pretty cool, all Serralunga fruit. And I'll be real excited to taste those on Thursday. And feel free to stop online, pick up, the wines are all on the very front page of the website, and there's a blog now, and there's maps, and so much stuff. So cheers, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you Thursday to drink bubbles. Cheers.